Please introduce yourself and tell us about this project.
Okay. My name is Nancy Stoudemire. I'm Director of Special Projects at the Columbia Housing Authority. About 1999, the Columbia Housing Authority decided to tear down 400 units of housing and build back 435 units of housing. We did a lot of extensive meetings with the community, and one of the things they kept saying was, we want more than just housing. We want grocery stores, we want a wellness center, we want a health center, we want a place where the community can meet. And that was what happened. That's exactly what we did. We approached HUD, we got funding, we got a grant for $26.2 million and leveraged it to $60 million of investment in this community. The final piece that we needed was a grocery store. And in 1999, we didn't realize that that was going to be one of the hardest things to do. Fast forward to 2014, and we met with the South Carolina Community Loan Fund Bank, and we said to them, we have got to do something about getting a grocery store. And they saw the connection between retail development and neighborhoods and housing. And that's how we've come today to have Save-A-Lot in our community here at City of Saxon Homes.
Talk a little bit about the technical assistance that you received through South Carolina Community Loan Fund and how that helped you understand what it would take to develop a grocery store.
Sometimes I look back on this whole experience and say, I can't believe how fast everything happened. We met with the South Carolina Community Loan Fund Bank in a workshop and met Jeff Brown and several others who knew what they were doing on grocery stores. And I would be the first to admit that I knew nothing about grocery stores on October 1st, 2014. Within 3 days, they had me meeting at the grocery store, looking at the space we had, trying to find solutions. And before I knew it, they made a connection that Save-A-Lot would be a good choice. We contacted Save-A-Lot, and within 90 days, I had a signed lease with Honor Capital and Save-A-Lot to go and start this grocery store. 125 days later, on May 6, 2015, we had a fully operating grocery store with a press conference where over 400 people were there, and it was fabulous.
It was. Tell us about the response from the community. What are you hearing from your residents about this store?
Sometimes when I drive by and I say, oh my gosh, there's no cars out front, but then I realize that this is a community, and the great thing about this grocery store is that people are walking here. They're carrying their baskets, they're carrying shopping carts that the store sells, that they can go and walk back and forth to, from their home to the store and get everything they need: fruits, vegetables, meats, all the frozen food products. I mean, it's just exciting to see how busy the store is, even though there may not be very many cars out front.
Right. And talk about a little bit the connection between housing and retail development and the importance of access to healthy food.
When we started the whole process of developing a community, the focus and the buzzword was a new urbanism style of a community where people could walk, and it was very open. We have lots of front porches. We have rear access on a lot of the housing units. Walking is one of the things. There's a walking track in the middle of the community. There's an exercise program. We have a splash park for the kids. It's very family focused. An exciting place to live. You can see people walking around and taking an interest and belief in their community. That's one of the reasons why a grocery store had to be a part of it. It was just shy of being a food desert. It was 0.95 from any other existing grocery stores. And one of the things we looked at is for the residents that were living here that were low income, to go to a grocery store would take 2 bus transfers. And that wasn't fair to the families that are working here who are trying to feed their children every day and do it on an affordable budget. The prices here, every time I walk into this Save-A-Lot, I am so blown away on how it's better than the grocery store that I used to stop in. And even though it's not near me, I come here and shop all the time.
Yep. And what would you want to tell people about South Carolina Community Loan Fund?
I think that, I've known South Carolina Community Loan Fund since they got started. I've been 38 years at the Columbia Housing Authority, and I remember when they got created and started working on housing. And it's just a natural transition that if you're going to look at housing, you've got to look at really more than that. You've got to look at the health issues, the financial issues, and also the food issues. If we're going to make differences in South Carolina, in communities, you've got to look at the total picture. And I think from my perspective, it's been great to see over the last 20 years how the South Carolina Community Loan Fund has just transitioned into doing more than just housing and just creating better communities all across South Carolina.